G'day everyone, I'm Mary, and today I'm going to talk to you about something that was first explained to me as cat theory. I just want to warn you guys, if you have depression, suicidal thoughts, or if your views on what is real can easily be shaken, please don't watch this video. I don't want any of you to take this too seriously and then end up hurting yourself or others. Cat theory was first introduced to me as a child. I was being bullied. I remember being at school, and then I have absolutely no idea where the rest of the memory took place. I was pulled aside, turned around, and somebody told me not to worry about what they think or what they're saying because those children aren't children at all. When you turn your back or when you close your eyes, they just turn into cats. At the time, this brought me a lot of comfort. Whenever I was worried about someone's opinion on my body or the way I was dressing or even the things that I did or said, I always found comfort in the idea that those people did not exist. When I turn around, they're just a bunch of silly cats licking themselves, chasing yarn, and that those people aren't people at all. I kind of forgot about this. I grew up a little bit. And then I remember one day watching TV on the couch. My mum was in the kitchen that was behind me, and she was cooking something, and I could hear her chopping food and moving around and muttering to herself, but I couldn't see her because I was facing forward. I remember very clearly thinking about whether or not she was actually there, if all of the sounds that I could hear were projections. I quickly turned around, and there of course was my mother standing there making food, and as I turned back slowly around, I wondered if she had disappeared again, if she was ever actually there, if the thing that I could see as my mother was real at all, or if it was some kind of projection like the sounds that I could hear. I became kind of engrossed in this idea that nothing and no one on earth actually existed. And I started researching it, and I remember reading, no one can actually remember being born. No one has early memories from below the age of 2 or 3. The reason you know that you were born is because there are photos and people tell you. But how do you know if those things are real? Because you exist, but perhaps you are the only thing that exists. Perhaps you are the only thing in the entire world with a conscious mind. Going back to how I started, it's not actually the belief that everyone turns into a cat when you're not looking. It's the belief that no other mind or human or animal or anything on this earth is actually real. That when you're in the shower and you close your eyes and wash the shampoo out of your hair and you get this feeling of dread for a split second where you're wondering if somebody's in there about to grab you or if somebody's watching you, behind you there is actually just darkness. Surrounding you is nothingness. The feeling of water and the warmth and everything else that you are experiencing isn't real. It's a projection. It's a manipulation of your mind. That you yourself are just one conscious being, possibly the only conscious being, just somewhere existing. And for what purpose? I'm obviously not the first person to have ever looked at this or researched this. There are countless movies, books, TV shows that explore the idea that reality isn't real, that the people that you see down the street don't exist. My personal interpretation of cat theory would include that everybody else, every conscious mind, thinks that they exist. If they didn't truly believe that they were real, then I couldn't be led to believe that they are real. There's absolutely no way to prove that this is real. There's no way to prove that you actually have a body, because you can see it and you can feel it and you can put makeup on in the mirror and you feel like your appearance has changed. But what if you don't even have an appearance? What if you don't even have a face? What if nothing about you exists other than your mind? Some people believe that the entire world is real, that there is an earth and that there is stuff, there is trees and there are lakes and there are buildings and there are roads, but they believe that all of these things were put here much like a dollhouse, and that while we walk down the street, somebody or something is doing that. They're moving us. They're projecting the thoughts and the feelings of the things that we see around us, much like we do when we play The Sims. If nobody ever can actually remember their birth and how they actually came to this earth, then there is absolutely no way to prove that any of us are really here. But then if it's true and we're all just projections, then how can we die? Doctor Who actually explored this idea a little bit, that if you imagine all the babies in the womb, they have a beginning and then after 9 months they'll have an end. And if they could communicate to one another, they would think that being in the womb and growing and turning into an infant child is their entire life. That after that what we call birth, there isn't anything. They go and they disappear and they can no longer communicate with the people who might have been their friends in their world. What if after we die, there is some other life that we simply can't go back and communicate with the living people what it is? I have read that some people decide that you can actually figure out whether or not the earth is real and that people are real by imagining what you think wouldn't be the next big event that you would emotionally react to. These people believe that their entire existence is created in order to have emotional reactions for something or someone to study or to research. So if you can imagine the next big disaster or the next big fantastically happy moment, then that will be the next event that occurs. But you can't tell anyone, or you can't even say it out loud or write it down, because as soon as you do, you are letting these other beings, these things that are controlling your universe, know that you know it's going to happen and that it won't, or then maybe it will, and that then they'll judge your reaction based on whether or not they think you can figure out what's going on. Right now, I can hear the buzz of my computer. I can hear my dog outside. And I can hear my fiancé in his room playing games. But I have absolutely no way to prove that those are actual things. I can see them, I can go open the door and run out and open his door, and I will see him, and I can feel him and smell him. But is that really real? There's no way to know. There's no way to prove it. Every time I close my eyes or I turn around, absolutely everyone on earth could turn into a cat. I know that you yourself have thought about this before. You've questioned reality before. You've turned around or you've closed your eyes and you have questioned whether or not this is real, if anything is real. Could it be possible that I am part of you, part of your subconscious, and I'm trying to warn you about something? I'm trying to tell you to look closer, to see? It's entirely possible. But this theory can't be true because I actually exist, right? That's it for this video. I hope you're having an absolutely amazing day. I'm going to put some links in the description with information about this theory and its proper name, because I'm 100% sure it's not actually called cat theory. That's just what I was told when I was really young. And going back to that, I have no idea who actually first introduced me to this theory. I cannot remember where I was for that moment. I cannot envision the landscape that was around me. It could have been my mum, it could have been my dad, it could have been a teacher, it could have been anyone. When I feel and experience this memory, it doesn't have a face, it doesn't have a smell or an environment. All it has is an indescribable voice telling me that everyone else is just a cat, Mary. You don't need to worry about anyone else's thoughts or feelings because these people aren't people. Alright, now that's it. Have a happy Halloween, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.